大家好, and welcome to White Gaze, where we white gaze upon the
drama,
the looks,
and the language
of our newest favorite Chinese television program, The Empresses in the Palace, otherwise known as...
Okay, Zhen Huan.
No.
Nope.
I
have.
You know what? We'll get there. That's why we're learning.
I randomly during the day I will say it to myself, and I will go to Pleco, and I will look up story, and I will listen to the downward tone.
Okay. No, that one was correct. You said the first one wrong.
It should just be
Zhen Huan. Zhuan.
Third.
Second, going up.
Zhen Huan.
Zhuan. Yes.
Zhen Huan Zhuan.
Yes. There we go. Okay. Why don't you describe to the listeners the state of your makeup?
Well, I have blocked out my eyebrows, and I came in the cab with the blocked out eyebrows, and I also had like this cowboy hat on with fringe, and the guy was just staring at me the whole time.
I mean, jaw-dropping beauty.
Explain this to streets.
Explain this.
With no eyebrows and in the hat. I mean, I wouldn't say no eyebrows.
There's a shadow.
They're fucking dork. And then I have also painted on some eyeliner. Just something very thin and dainty.
Yes, very natural. Very natural eyeliner.
Very even. Some would say symmetrical.
Why y'all got to lie?
Okay, let's just jump right into it because, ladies, buckle your seatbelts. This episode is the craziest one I've seen yet.
And you know what? We got warning from Beaverhausen last weekend when we told her that we were doing this. She said, "Oh, just wait." And like
we did.
She kind of spoiled it for us.
一来便去了那个贱人处.
But we didn't. But
not quite.
We didn't know quite all of this was coming.
Yes. Hopefully, future friend of the pod, future guest of the pod, Beaverhausen, will be here to discuss Zhen Huan in the future. But yes, so this episode is really off to the races. Now, one thing that I observed in this episode is the Emperor is nowhere to be found.
Oh yeah, he wasn't in this episode. I guess the show is about the girls.
Well, I mean, okay, so yes, I noticed that he was gone, but I was gonna follow up with I prefer it this way.
Yeah.
I deeply enjoyed not having to actually get into the real history or the real politics, military coup of it all.
But he does wear really cute stuff, so...
He does.
Bless God and bless the gays.
So we start off and we see Zhen Huan, and she is... Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
We see Zhen Huan, and she is being shipped off to the palace, and her family is standing there watching her leave.
Yes, because last episode they were crying. She said something about her little sister, you're going to take care of the family now. And so now we finally actually see them leaving, and it seems as if they are going to the palace on foot.
Yeah, because they're carrying her in a little carriage. It's dark. And then the next scene that we see, it's bright. And they're at the palace.
And they are still walking. And poor Jade and Vermilion don't get to go in the carriage. No, they were walking too. So
in those platforms.
Okay, you better walk.
I don't know where Zhen Huan is from.
Right. And we don't know exactly where they're going either.
We also don't know where the palace is. I'm going to assume that this is...
Is it Beijing?
Is this like the summer palace?
I don't know. We'll have to... Okay, readers, listeners, if you're out there, please write us and correct us because we have no idea where they are.
We said drama, looks, and language. We didn't say history.
History. This is not a history podcast, okay? If you come here for historical accuracy, you can go to the Learning Channel, Okay, not here.
Not the Learning Channel. TLC, that's where they do like, I'm 700 pounds and like toddlers and tiaras.
Okay, you can
go a History Channel.
You can go to the History Channel for history. All right. But anyways, we get to the palace and they start, looking at all their different places. It's kind of like the first day of college where you're like, ooh, where's your room? Ooh, where's your room? And some people's rooms are better than other people's rooms.
It is very that. Well, I lived at home, so I didn't.
Oh, you never lived in a dorm?
No, my first year I lived at home, and then my second year I got my own place because I am from where my college was, and so I got to sign a little residency waiver.
Mm. You know what? My sister did that too. Both of my sisters, actually. And I, say what you want about the state of higher education, but I do think that dorm life is an experience that you cannot get anywhere else.
And you know what? I feel like it could have been great for me because this is like when I was coming out.
Uh-huh.
And I could have just been sucking
so
every
much gay
dick.
stuff happens.
I could have sucked every dick in Horn Hall or wherever the fuck I would have lived.
Exactly.
Like
you would have been the queen of Horny Hall.
Horn Hall was the girls' hall, I'm pretty sure.
It was really cool, really interesting, and very cool.
So anyways, they're comparing their rooms, and, they are, some of them are happy, some of them are sad. So...
Zhen Huan does not seem upset by hers.
No.
But they start walking to it, and they're like, this is kind of gloomy over here.
They're like, are we still in the palace? We've walked quite a ways. And they're like, no, it's just quiet. It's relaxing out here.
We can see on everybody's face that is from the palace already that they're like, oh no, we're having to take her out here. We saw from Miss Momo. Because they're like, where she's leaving? The Palace of Jade. And she's like,
oh no. So
they walk in there. They're showing them around the Palace of Jade. And they're like, what the fuck is this stage? Why we got a stage? Because it used to be a theater.
Oh, that's right. And it's been renovated. And
yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, we just cleaned it up for you. But the Empresses, the Empress planted some new flowers or trees.
An olive tree. That's like a thing for like peace, isn't it, or something?
I guess. No, that's an olive branch.
Olive branch. Oh,
no.
The branch comes from the tree.
Also, I guess. Is that cross-cultural? It could be. That's a very Western thing.
Yeah.
The olive branch.
Yeah.
Very biblical.
Very Taylor Swift and Katy Perry.
Did they give each other olive branches?
I think Katy Perry sent one to Taylor Swift or
like
something.
a literal olive branch?
Yeah.
Okay, slay.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Yes.
I know, wig. I feel that already.
She wanted to have a truce once the single did not perform. So, we are seeing all the other girls' houses. Mei Zhuang, her house is great. She meets her servants. They keep giving their eunuchs bags of money.
I didn't know what that was, but the eunuch at Zhen Huan's
was real happy.
Yeah.
To get whatever was in that bag.
It seemed like a pretty big bag.
It did, and when he put it in his hands and he sort of swiveled it around, I could hear some whoa, whoa, whoa.
I didn't know if that was what are those called? Chestnuts or
chestnuts.
Yeah. What are the Buddhists like?
Oh, I don't know what those are called.
That's what I see and that's what I hear.
I was thinking Benoit balls.
What's that?
Those are the ones where you put inside of your pussy, and it's supposed to bring you peace.
Oh, like jade egg?
Yeah, something like that. But he was happy for it nonetheless.
I'm also loving Zhen Huan's energy. She's like, you know what? We are gonna follow the rules around here, but y'all stand up.
Right. She was like, stand up, let's talk to each other like normal people. She's really nice to her main girl. And she's like, you've been here longer than me. I need to be respectful to you. Right?
What's her name?
Her name is...
Jinxi?
Yes. Jinxi. Yeah, Cui Jinxi. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna respect you since you have been here for so long and clearly have survived. Because as we will see, this is not a safe place to be.
Poor An Lingrong is right next to Miss Sha.
Oh, yes. Oh.
And from episode 1, we know that they do not have a great history because An Lingrong spilt the tea.
We all know that Xia Dongchun is a real big cunt.
Did I lie?
Because she is constantly coming for Miss An Lingrong. And when she sees her at the palace, she says, how could somebody like you be selected? Really? Are you kidding me? My enemy is here. And An Lingrong is just like trying to be quiet. She's just like, sorry.
She's like, sorry that happened. She's like, you don't talk to me like we're friends.
Yeah, do not call me Jie. You gotta call me usually there.
Is that what her title is?
Yeah, she is Changzai, and she is one step above An Lingrong.
So she's
that
like,
is why.
We are no, do not compare yourself to me.
Do not compare yourself to me. You could never be me.
Fucking peasants! Pick my fucking fruit out, ho!
So Zhen Huan and her 2 attendants, Jade and Vermilion, are having a little gossip party, and she brings all 3 of their well-manicured hands together.
Oh, yeah.
And they pledge to support each other and to watch each other's backs.
And to keep each other safe.
To keep loyal to each other as a unit, because they can all affect each other. If her handmaids fuck up, then it will come back on her.
Mm-hmm.
And if she fucks up, then it will come back on Jade and Vermilion. So they're really hammering home this idea that they are a sisterhood. And that they do have fabulous nails. We catch up with the Empress, and she's eating some oranges. And one of her servants, one of her maids, is like, Empress, how dare she take the pomelo oranges and give you the tangerines? This is not right. And the Empress is like, we just have to let
it's whatever. Just
Huafei be a little bitch because, like, what am I going to do? Just let her be a bitch. And she's like, I care. And then finally another maid snaps back and is like, girl, shut up. There's no point in this. We are too weak for Huafei, who we still have not seen this episode.
Oh, but when we do.
Oh, but when we do. One of the Empress's eunuchs goes to Zhen Huan's palace and summons her to meet and pay respect to her in 3 days. Which I thought was a random thing. They all live in the same palace.
Yeah, it's like maybe if she was living back at home, it's like, hey, you need to be here in 3 days.
Sure.
So you can start planning it.
Yeah.
Or it's like, what are they doing all day?
Right, like, what do you mean 3 days to get from my block to yours in 5 minutes?
You know what? I don't know how big that palace is, and she's living out there. She's living in the boonies.
True. She is in the corner of the palace, so maybe it does take a little while. But anyways, she's discussing what she wants to wear so that she can go and greet the Empress for the first time. Because as we remember from a previous episode, all the girlies have to greet the Empress quite regularly.
It seems like a daily, morning tea.
I don't know if it's daily, but it may be daily. She again gives him some money. She's just addicted to handing this money out.
Mm-hmm.
She gives him some money, and then suddenly, everybody is getting gifts.
Yeah.
People are walking around, not looking where they're going, taking these gifts.
Oh my gosh, the little... They look like, did you ever play Spyro?
Spyro the Dragon?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was this one little wizard kind of thing that you had to ram into and get this egg. But he's very fast and kind of impossible to get. That's kind of what they reminded me of.
So they're just marching around the palace face down, but their hands are outstretched in front of them, carrying gifts to all these houses. And Zhen Huan is getting lots of gifts. She gets lots of them from Huafei. Huafei's sending gifts to all the girlies.
That's what I was thinking, that all of these gifts were coming from Huafei. Are they coming from all of the other
They're coming from the other ones
the
too.
elder,
the elders,
concubines.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're in our sisterhood now. And Jen is not very interested in the bling. And so she just says,
Go put it in the storeroom.
put it in storage. Like, let's record who gave it to us so we can say thank
So we
you.
can say thank you, but I don't need it right now.
But I'm not gonna like try and just like be iced out day one.
Because she gets a big box of jewelry from Huafei. And I can see Huafei like being real cunty about it later. Like, oh, I see you wearing my hand-me-down jewels.
She could. And I think that's what Zhen Huan is actually doing. I think she's trying to keep a low profile. I think she's not trying to be very showy at this moment. It could be a trick from Huafei.
Yeah.
And while this is all happening, that bitch Xia Dongchun sees that An Lingrong is not getting any gifts. Everybody else is getting gifts because everybody else is at least a Changzai or a Guiren, but she is dying, so she just has no status, basically.
She sees it happening and she's walking over towards her room and she goes, you know what? It's your own fault for being poor.
No. She says the opposite. She says the opposite.
It's not your fault that you're poor?
Yeah, it's not your fault that you were born so poor and pathetic. And so she says some really mean things to her. And granted, she's just sat there. An Lingrong is just sat there, just being sad.
Her servant is like quite sassy whenever she curtsies her afterwards.
She gets real low into that squat curtsy to show how angry she is. But Xia Dongchun overplays her hand. Because in the earshot of Huafei's main eunuch, she says,
华妃娘娘赏的东西再好，那也不如皇后娘娘的。
wow, the gifts from the Empress are much better than Huafei's little trashy gifts. So I'm gonna wear the Empress's fabrics.
Make me a dress. Make me a dress. I need it in 3 days.
And she walks away. But we see that the eunuch heard that, and he is not happy.
That's me when I used to go to the fabric market. They're like, you can come back in a week, and I'm like, no, babe, I need it tomorrow.
3 days. And that's why they all hate you at the fabric market. Just like we all hate Xia Dongchun.
They love me. They love my coins, but...
We get to meet another one of the new girlies. We hadn't met her before. Her name is Chun Changzai. And she's living in the same palace as Zhen Huan.
Oh yeah, she comes over for some tea.
She comes over for some tea, but she cannot get her hands out of the pastries.
What is pu'er tea?
I don't know. I've heard about it. It's like good tea. It's famous tea. It's the tea I made you last episode.
Okay.
From the redacted.
Okay, but don't come at me like oh, of course it's this tea, because you were like, oh, I've heard of it. Yeah, pu'er
cha. Okay, pu'er cha is produced in southwestern Yunnan province.
Of course. Of course. After our famous trip to Yunnan, we should know.
Well, did we have much tea on that trip?
No, but we did have some good coffee.
We did. Yes, we did. So they're drinking some pu'er cha, and she is just eating all this food, and she's just saying that she wasn't able to eat at dinner because they made the same food that her mom used to make.
Yeah, so she's feeling homesick.
She's feeling homesick. However, I'm the opposite. When I get homesick from my mom's food, I eat more of it.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody makes, like, mashed potatoes...
Well, I think that she's coming at it like, this is not as good as my mom's.
True.
Well, she is a young girl. She's only 14.
That was a gag.
Mm-hmm.
When they were like, wow, you look fresh. And she's like, yeah, I'm 14. And it's like, oh, girl.
It like, she looks 14 and she kind of like acts 14 too.
Yes.
She is shoveling in these
Very
pastries.
childish.
And they're like, what she asked? She asked her if she wanted some like, fabric or some jewelry or something. She offered her something else, and she was like, no, I'll have the pastries.
Yes. And then we flash back again. Xia Dongchun is being really rude to An. An Lingrong is just sitting in her own house, minding her business, singing.
Oh, she's not a singer, she's a vocalist.
She's a vocalist, okay? She is singing to herself as she goes, and Xia Dongchun says,
果然是下贱坯子。
You slut.
You little slut.
You little slut trying to trying to seduce his majesty with your slut voice. Well, it's not gonna work.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch, because guess what? You can't sleep with him on the first 3 days. So what are you gonna try to do? What are you wasting your whore voice for?
She's like,
today?
fine. She's like, fine. If you don't like it, I'll stop.
Yeah, she's like, fine, I'll just go somewhere else. And she's like, don't be cutesy.
Don't get cutesy. Watch your cutesy mouth.
Don't get cutesy with me. This keeps building and building and building, and I think something is gonna happen. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
So Anna's feeling very sad, and so she decides that she's not gonna stay at her palace where she has to live with Xia Dongchun. She's gonna go out and visit her real friends.
Yeah.
And she sees them like playing or frolicking at some like flower.
Mm-hmm. And her eunuch goes to announce her, and she's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I just want to watch them be happy and have what they have.
Uh-huh. And then Jade sees her. Was that Jade or Vermilion that saw her?
I don't remember.
One of the girlies sees her, and she's like, oh my gosh, An Lingrong is here.
Yes.
And then Zhen Huan, she's really good with the rules. She's trying to stay in line like her father said.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, why did you not announce her? You're making her sit in here and melt in the sun.
Right. And she's like, no, that was my fault. Sorry. But then they all go in and have some tea.
Mm-hmm.
And here we see our main 3 girls really melting their bonds of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, An Lingrong, what is the problem? And they're like, oh, well, my servants aren't as experienced as yours. And so Zhen Huan is like, hey, I'm going to give you one of mine. She's great.
What's her name? Daisy?
Her name is Daisy.
She's got all the flowers.
Or Lilac.
Rose, Lily, something.
Something.
What was the name of An Lingrong's cuckoo?
Her name, she was like, you know what, my best attendant is Cuckoo.
And the other girls are 15.
And the other girls are 15, they're dumb. And so she's like, no, let me give you Lilac. And it will be fun for you.
We need to get back on those Chinese names because I'm sure they're beautiful Chinese names, but whenever it's whenever it's in English, cuckoo. We were like, girl.
Cuckoo. We're like, oh no. she is not gonna last very long. And then finally they were like, well, what are you gonna wear when we meet the Empress? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't really get any new presents. And so then Shen Meizhuang is like, oh, well, you can have some of mine, and we'll make you a dress too. We can match.
Yeah, we got new fabrics. We'll get you a dress whipped up.
And this is a sisterhood.
Yeah.
You ask me for my shit all the time.
Yeah. Which, can I borrow a shirt to wear tonight?
Well, which one? Which one?
No, actually, I don't know what I'm going to wear tonight, so we'll have to try this on later. But yes, this reminds me of our sisterhood.
In what way?
Y'all are just always here to support me.
Of course.
And we're always here to support y'all.
But it's also because, you know, the rules of the palace. If you fuck up, it looks bad on me too. So I need you to look good. And I need you to be right. If I let you go out and look busted, people would think badly of me.
Take me to the fabric market tomorrow, buddy.
I need a dress in 3 days. So finally, it's the day where they are going to meet with the Empress, and everybody is getting ready in the mirror. It's a new day in the workroom.
Just the mirror, just the mirror. Am I allowed to sing that?
I think so. I think under a certain amount of time, it's royalty free. So one of Jen's maids, not Lily, but the other one, not Daisy, but the other one, is like, you know what, you need to look really good today.
It's the main girl, yeah?
Yeah.
What's her name? Oh.
It's not Jinxi. It's not Jinxi.
Oh, that's who I was thinking. Jinxi.
No. It's somebody else. And she's like, hey girl, you need to look really good for the Empress. And she's like, actually, no. I'm going to try to look real regular because I don't want my first impression to be like I'm trying to be some big shot.
She sends her to do something.
She's like, look over there.
And then and then she goes to Jade and she's like, dude, my hair is normal.
Yeah, she's like, Jade, you got to figure this out. I'm not about to let this girl back there. And then Hua Fei is also preparing for this day, and she looks marvelous.
Yeah, so this is one of the looks that I have saved.
She has got her phoenix headdress fully.
We have the screenshot says we have to be on time today, and then her face is like, no, says who?
Says who?
Says who?
I just love this so much. It's got like a blue phoenix in the middle, and from out of that, it's just more turquoise and jewels. It looks like it weighs about 10 pounds. There's a little pearl in the center.
Wow.
It's just so decadent.
I want one of these.
We can definitely find them on Taobao.
Okay, you know what? Actually, looking at this right here, the wood right here drooping out looks like
it's part of her hair.
It looks like pigtails.
Yeah, it looks like Queen Amidala.
I want pigtails hanging from mine. It shouldn't come in my mouth like that.
Well, some of them have it. Some of them have like the dangles.
No, but I want that to be her hair. I want that to be
right
inches.
Right. Inchianas.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, she gets to the Empresses. So all the girls are there.
We see all the new girls greeting. They haven't bowed yet. They're just like,
yes.
Hey.
We all see them inside. Everybody's waiting on Hua Fei. And then finally she comes in and she says, I'm not late, am I?
Sorry I'm late. I got here as soon as I wanted to.
And so then she goes in. All the girls are doing their bowing. And then one of the older concubines is like, Hua Fei, are you feeling well? Because you've been late last time and you were late this time. And she was like,
皇上昨晚上看奏折看晚了，本宫陪的就晚了点儿。
I was just up so late with the emperor last night. He was working. And so was I.
And then the Empress cuts in, and she's like, you know what? You don't have to worry about that anymore because he's got all these new girls to fuck.
Don't worry, you're not going to be so tired for very long.
we got a new set of girls.
And so they all bow. They're doing the really fun thing where they're flipping the fabric
They give us like 3 flicks of the wrist. They stand up again. They go back down and give us 3 flicks of the wrist, and then they have a whole chant that they say like.
You should teach your students how to do this when they come into your class.
You know what? That's like a great like little lead in or like warm up for the class. It's like when the bell rings, they can do their little. I'll give them some voguing hands to do.
So they all have to go around and greet to all the senior concubines too. So they're kneeling. Mm-hmm. They are kneeling right in front of Hua Fei, and Hua Fei is supposed to say thank you and stand up, but instead
all the girls are still down there. And then she says something about Zhen Huan's earrings. I think she's talking about Zhen Huan because Zhen Huan is right in front of her, and she's in the shot. And she says something about like it being too light. The
jade of the new concubines is not as good as the ones that she has. But then the Empress is like, well, but you're too young to wear jade anyway, which I don't understand.
I don't understand that either. Again, this is not a history podcast.
And so then Hua Fei agrees. She's like, you're right. I am too young to wear the jade. So why don't you take it?
She's like, no, I have pearl earrings. I don't need to be extravagant. I am the top girl.
By the way, let these bitches stand up, Hua Fei.
And she's like, oh.
Fine. Stand.
She keeps doing this like thing where she's like brushing the side of her face with her
touching her hair
with her claw. With her claw.
Yes. Showing the girls the talents. And so when she finally does let them stand up, she's like, oh, but before my moment is up, which one of you is Xia? And she's like, ooh,
me.
Me. And she's like, wow, I like your dress. what's it made from? And she's like, oh, you know, the Empresses fabrics. Thank you, Miss Empress. And Hua Fei's like, noted. And then she's like, also, who is Zhen Huan and who is Shen Meizhuang? And then they're like, oh, it's me. And she says, okay, well, Shen, you're very elegant. I can tell that about the way that you speak. And Zhen Huan, although you are dressed very shabbily, you're very clearly visible.
You're here, but that dress,
I think she's trying to make a comment about how, like, her beauty is so strong and so powerful that even though her clothes are bad, like, everybody still can see her. Mm-hmm. She doesn't fade into the background.
Yeah.
Right?
Whereas Miss Shan needed that dress to stand out.
She did. She really, really did. Shen flatters that Hua Fei is 国色天香. And it is a proverb that is supposed to mean that she's very pretty. But then Hua laughs at her for saying that and gets her in trouble. And is like, no, you should say that. You should save something like that for the Empress. Wow, are you disrespecting the Empress right in front of her? And so then Meizhuang is like, oh, fuck me. I'm so in trouble. But then Zhen Huan jumps up and saves the day. And she turns it around. And she's like, well, actually, what she meant to say was that you are as pretty as this type of peony, but the Empress is as pretty as this more prettier type of peony, and regardless, we are ugly as fuck, and we can never compare. The Empress...
She's like, we have very smart and pretty girls, but...
You're all very smart and pretty.
But you do not need to forget that you are here to give us babies.
Right, yes.
And we don't need cattiness, we don't need rivalry.
Yes. Do not get involved in drama. She's like, this is drama free. There's no drama in this house. And then they are dismissed. They're let go.
And then this is where shit starts popping.
I was truly gagged by this next scene.
Yeah.
But before we get into the drama, I do have a word for the director of this scene. As a person who works in performance as well, I was really caught off guard by the blocking of this scene. Like, everybody is in the road, but nobody is moving. Like, what's their motivation? What's their objective? Where are they going? What are they trying to do?
It's good that we have this drama and this dramatic scene where they're all talking to each other, but it is they're just in the middle of the road.
Right.
I was assuming that they had just left the...
Yeah.
But...
Was there a traffic jam? Was there a red light? Like, they're just stopped.
They literally all just stopped and they're like, okay, we're going to walk over here and do our drama scene. it's very that. We're going to walk over here and do our drama scene. And it's like, even the camera like pans out and you can see them from a different angle.
Yeah, and it's there's nobody in front of them.
No, there's nothing. And they're all just stopped.
Yes.
But Miss Xia is starting to get cunty with the girls.
Yes, and she mocks them for trying to curry favor with the Empress and Hua Fei, even though she knows that they're on opposing sides. So Xia Dongchun, she does know that she is trying to get with the Empress and not with Hua Fei, knowing that they are opposing. Whereas the other girls, our girls, are trying to play both sides at this point because they don't want to be involved at all. And so... You know, she makes a joke, too, about you have so many gifts and all of your servants are carrying all these gifts. Like, will you have enough room in your palace? And Meizhuang is like, well, we're all sisters, so why don't we can share these? Mm-hmm. And you can actually have one. And this is when she says, Xia Dongchun's like, I'm not poor. What do you think I am? How offensive is it that you are just gonna give me gifts like that? And that is when Jen goes for her.
She jumps at her.
She goes,
she bucks.
And thankfully she is stopped by I think Shen Meizhuang. I think she steps in and stops her and is like, nope. You can't do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
All the while, They're being watched.
So Huafei and her girls roll up, and they are just right behind them, just watching. And her maid is like, how the fuck did this bitch get in here?
Uh-huh.
And who gave her that title?
And Huafei's like, keep going. And she's like, she's been stirring up drama with her housemates. She's been rude as fuck to everybody. She, like, does not know her place. And Huafei's like, interesting. Huh. I love this moment for An Lingrong. Because after Zhen lunges and is stopped, An Lingrong is like, no, I've got it from here. And she says, Xia Dongchuan, I hear that your family is famous for the military. And Xia says, and she's like, well, that explains your behavior. You have the manners of a soldier.
And she is pissed off.
And she gets so pissed off, she rears up her hand to strike. Whoo! Lunges forward.
Yeah,
to stop her.
Jin's
Says,
trying to buck up.
you cannot hit a girl in here. There's no hitting girls. We're all sisters. The Empress just said no drama, and you're up here trying to hit a girl.
And then she tries to swing again, and then the eunuch comes up behind her, grabs her by the wrist.
Yes.
And it's like, no.
And Huafei approaches and says, how dare you disrupt this peaceful morning?
She's like, I was trying to go on a walk about the garden, and I have to see this nasty drama.
And Xia Dongchuan immediately is like, oh, fuck. And she's like, no, you don't understand. She was being rude to me. I just wanted to reprimand her. I wanted to just tell her place, because she's just she's below me.
She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were in charge. I thought I was in charge of the girls.
And not only that, but you are not able to bear the responsibility. You are not good enough to bear such a responsibility. And she's on the ground. She is shaken. She is shook.
Mm-hmm. She is literally shaking.
And then Huafei goes for the kill. And, okay, listeners, I had no idea where this was going, but it sounds ominous. She says, the leaves this autumn don't seem to be red enough.
And then her maid is like, I hear that blood is a good way to color the leaves red.
And Huafei goes, oh, right. So why don't we just give Xia Changzai a meter of red then? Let her blood nourish the leaves in the palace. And Xia is like, I am the same as her at this moment, because I am like, what the fuck? What?
Well, anyways, they are gonna get a stick.
Well, it's just so funny because like Huafei is like, yes, we'll give you the scarlet red, and her maid is like, yes, the scarlet red,
yes.
And like very mysterious, and then Xia Dongchun is like, oh, what's the scarlet red? And then her eunuch very matter-of-factly says,
The scarlet red is a form of punishment in the palace. A wooden rod of 5 feet 2 inches will be used to beat the lower body until the flesh and tendon splits and beaten into minced meat and the bone breaks. From afar, the scene looks like a beautiful scene of red. That's why it is named a meter of red.
And then he's like, yep, so come along.
They're going to beat her legs until there is a puddle of blood that they can paint the leaves with.
Yes, and water the plants. And so Xia is like, girl, no, stop. Ah! Begging. And everybody just seems like normal about it, and Huafei then just continues to walk along.
Well, she tells them first. She says, listen, y'all started this, so you need to watch your backs.
Right.
You're lucky we're not beating the shit out of you.
Yes. Which I don't agree that they started this. I don't agree that they started this.
From the context of what she got from Xia, she believes that they started it. But Xia's little mouth started it.
She did.
If she didn't want them coming for her, then she shouldn't have came for them.
And so all three of our girls are terrified. They run away, and they're like, we gotta go home.
Wanna know what? No, I am gonna leave.
We just gotta lock ourselves in our room for a little bit and stay out of it. And right as they're about to do that,
some little girl runs by. Oh my God!
And they're like, what? What now?
And she's just like, ah! She can't say anything.
Speechless. Finally, another unit comes by. And then, I don't know, it looks like she throws a rock at him.
No, but he is there to serve her, so she's like, hey, what's going on? And then he kneels over and he's like, it's the well. I saw it in the well.
I just saw. And they're like, well, I guess.
She's like, I'll go look. I'll go take a look.
And the girls are like, no, Zhen Huan, don't go. It's going to be gross. Don't look in there. And she's like, I have to.
You saw them shook up. Why are you going to go?
Yes. And what do we see in the well? If not... Fudza.
Yeah, the girl... we predicted...
Looking like the girl from The Ring.
Oh, she was. Yeah. She was gray and her hair was... Yeah. But this... Did we see her in the second episode where she got her neck chopped?
No, that was the first episode, if you can believe.
Yeah, she got her neck popped, and she fainted, and then we got that little pan to the well.
The ominous pan, yeah. So finally, she's been found.
And that motherfucker really did throw her in the well.
But I don't believe she died from contact. Like, there's no way.
She was passed out and then put in the well and drowned.
But
also, I think you can pop somebody in the neck like that and kill them.
Well, I guess. I wouldn't know.
It's not my specialty.
It's not. I'm not a black belt, okay? I do not know how to do that. So anyways, this is just too much for me. Because number one, we just heard that Xia Dongchun was about to be, like, destroyed. Mm-hmm. And now we found another dead body in, like, 5 minutes.
Well, is this the end of her? Because...
I don't think this is the end of her. I don't think they said they're going to kill her.
They're not going to kill her, but she's useless.
Well, it'll be...
If they're beating her, the lower half of her body, she's not going to be able to get her pussy beat.
Yes, true. It's going to be more than 3 days for her.
Yeah, well, and they told us at the end of the last episode that, like, girls who can't produce, they have this, like...
they get exiled.
Yeah.
So anyways, the Empress's eunuch, Jiang Fuhai, runs back to the Empress to tell her all this stuff. And he's like, number one, Fudza's dead. And she's like, what? Fudza? I loved her. She didn't do anything wrong.
I sent her to Wafei. I sent her, and he's like, okay, I'll go ask her. But also... Xia is getting the scarlet red. And
number two, Xia is getting the scarlet red. And she's like...
Oh, that's her own fault.
It's her fault. I don't care. Can we go back to Fudza, please? And because I think she knows. Well, she's trying to get to the bottom of it. So she ends up sending Jiang Fuhai to Hua Fei's place to confront her to find out.
Well, because we originally thought that Fudza was there to be a spy.
She probably was.
Exactly.
I agree. I think she was. And so Hua Fei already knows that the body has been discovered. So she's really choosing her words politically. Mm-hmm. Like, she's trying to be very crafty about it. And so she's like, you know what? Before he says anything, I'm going to have my piece. And so as soon as he comes in, she says, why is the Empress so mad about Fudza? She's a bad attendant. I haven't seen her in days.
She pulled my hair and I sent her away.
She pulled my hair, I sent her away, and she never came back. And then he's like, but she's dead.
Dead? End of the episode.
End of episode. So clearly, I think she knows.
I think she knew too.
And so, I think she's lying.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this episode.
Yeah, me too. Very dramatic. It's like we are getting to see more of the palace, more of how it works. We got some new girls. And I love all the scenes when the girls are all together, sitting in that room, drinking tea, talking to the Empress. Like, when all the girls are together, it is like Super Smash Brothers in there, and I love it. And that was also the best part of the second episode, is whenever Hua Fei and the Empress are just going back and forth.
Yes. What were your favorite looks from this episode?
Well, there wasn't a lot.
There wasn't a lot. I had a lot.
Hua Fei.
Okay. Her headdress.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally loved when they first arrived to the palace. All the eunuchs were wearing this like periwinkle color.
Oh yeah,
I just love that color. I think it's perfect for springtime.
That was a great color.
I really want to get that. Additionally, I loved what Zhen Huan was wearing when she arrived. It's this like sort of a cherry blossom print on a teal.
They got a little bird down there too.
There's a little birdie on the branch.
Oh, and
the hair is looking laid. Sleeves. Very nice.
It's funny. These photos look like whenever you zoom in on them, it looks like you were at the event and you were.
I was there, girl. I was there. I also love these sleeves. I just love the detail in the sleeves where they get like the pattern and the like embroidery almost. Like it looks like it's hand done.
Are these the jammies?
Yeah, these were her comfies. These were her jammies.
All right, y'all can't see this, but it's just like silk pajamas, like a light blue silk pajama, and at the end of the sleeve towards the hand, there's like all this embroidery. It goes about 3/4 of the way up. No, a quarter of the way up.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Very cute. What was your favorite hair of the episode?
The big old rose from An Lingrong.
I was going to say that same thing too.
Yeah.
She has her hair, because not only is her hair up in like the big updo, but it's got this big chrysanthemum.
Is it a chrysanthemum?
I think it's a chrysanthemum. I didn't get a good picture of it.
But you don't know what a chrysanthemum is.
I mean, I know what a chrysanthemum is. Can you say chrysanthemum?
Juhua.
Okay, there you go. But also because on each side it has like the pink dangles.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like there's a lot going on with that.
Yeah, it's really cute.
It was really, really cute.
Which also you didn't like Shaz in the very beginning, the pink.
No, I didn't. I just don't like that color.
I thought the print was cute though.
I think the print in a different color could have worked, but it was just in like a really cheap pink.
I say that
it looked like Taobao.
Yeah, it just reminds me of my grandma, so like that's why I like it, I guess.
So it's comforting to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because my grandma would always wear these nightgowns, and I guess it kind of looked like that.
Not you comparing Xia Dongchuan to a muumuu.
Exactly. It looks like a nightgown.
Okay, well, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you have any predictions?
I hope that we get to see Xia exiled.
Like more punishment for her.
Well, because she's going to get her punishment, and then I don't think that she's going to be able to carry a child.
Clearly.
Depending on where they beat her. Like, if they're just, like, hacking at her calves, maybe. But they just had lower body.
Right. So we'll have to see. What do you think is going to happen as a result of Fuzi being found?
I
have no idea.
I don't know. I'd say check the CCTV, but
they don't got it.
They don't have that yet.
I have a feeling we'll see the Emperor again, but I don't really want to.
Well, they're all living at his house, so yes.
But do you remember in the intro of today's episode, they showed some really handsome men?
Yeah, I'm ready to see some men.
Yeah. I want to see some men that are not the Emperor shaking things up.
There was a bald guy in the intro.
In the intro,
and I was like, let's introduce that character.
Let's get introduced.
Let's get him in on the show.
真学家同学们好. This is Trenton here, and unfortunately, I have the news that this week's Chinese language challenge got lost in space. The audio that we recorded has left the chat, and so we have no Chinese language challenge to present to you this week. This week we were supposed to give you the reading challenge, where Weston would read a Chinese children's book and do his best, and I really wish you could have heard his attempts at reading in Chinese, but maybe it's best that you didn't at this time until he gets a little bit better at his pinyin translations and pronunciations. We will do this challenge in the future, so don't you worry if you are interested in that incredible content that we've got for you. But for today, we have to say 再见.